Alright, so I'm going to do this long form video first, I guess. So I had a chance to go resurrect this, rescue this Rainclox Rainbird controller. It's an old mechanical controller, probably from the 60s. I think the project was from about 1960. So this thing's pretty old. Backstory is I drove by this controller for, well, years. I mean, probably as long as I've had a driver's license, I drove past this thing. Never knew what it was, but I'd always sit in traffic, and I'd always see the backside of this thing, and I always thought it was like a spotlight. And so, you know, I got another one of these Rainclox, and I knew what the back of this thing looked like, and I said, that's gotta be what it was. But the thing that always threw me off was that there's only one leg here, and I thought, well, the Rainclox had the, you know, this, and this, so I'm like, you know, it's gotta be what it is. So I had an opportunity last week, and went and got it, and saved it from being bulldozed into the ground. And so it is a Rainclox. So it's a Rainbird Rainclox Glendora. So the door is super rusted. I mean, obviously the being pretty much just fell apart. There's camera work here. So there's the inside of it. Nothing's on the inside of the door. So basically it's based off the Intermatic setup. The funny thing about this was these two screws were in the top here, and it's like the whole top of the controller is like brand new. But the whole bottom of these things, I had to take a cold chisel and punch those both out. So now we're going to both, for the first time, get to see what's inside of here. So if I jump, it's because something back here is, we don't know what's in the back. Yeah, there you go. So a whole bunch of bees nests. I'm surprised this thing's been sitting in our kitchen for like a week. So that's really, go figure, right? So it looks like they ran the line voltage and the controller voltage. It looks like they ran it all up and down. Oh, sorry, I'm should use my finger here. So our step down transformer looks like everything is going down the main conduit here, which is kind of strange. And it's only a 3-zone controller, which is really strange for where this came from. So let's just see if we can take this apart. And I'm probably going to pause the video so I can take this thing out and clean the crap out of it. And let's get a better look at it. Looks like it got a mud dauber nest and, you know, some wasp nests that were in it. And then we'll see if we can flip this thing over. I don't know if I want to put power to it tonight or not. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so knocked all the mud dauber nests and bees nests that were out here. Fortunately, nobody was home. I can't believe we had this thing in our kitchen, but I guess you get used to working on these things, and it is what it is. But this was what surprised me when we took this thing out and the power was off, was look at the size of that conductor. I mean, let's use a 1/4-inch ratchet for example. Yeah, that's, y'all can go underneath. That's monstrous. I mean, that's a 1/4-inch in diameter. And the funny thing is, so it's weird because as we're looking through this thing, here's our neutral, here's our hot, we got our ground. Actually, it might not be ground. Actually, there is no ground on this. But they were only using one zone of this thing, or because you can see they taped off that. And the unfortunate thing is, you know, the cool thing about getting these old controllers is you get like a history about it. You know, you get the paperwork, and you kind of get an idea of where this thing came from. This thing is like the, you know, it's like, you know, the unknown soldier or whatever. It's a really bad reference, but you know, it's kind of like you don't know anything else about it. You just know it you know, it existed, and I got mosquitoes flying around me. So let's go ahead and clip that wiring out. I don't think I'm gonna try and power this up tonight. Yes, I do carry a pair of wire strippers in my pocket most of the time. Well, whatever. Anyway, you get the point. We're gonna clip these leads out and probably just gonna put this thing back together and set it aside for now. But I think everything else, the CAN motors, I mean, similar connections. I'm looking through the view. I'm looking past behind the camera. Most everything looks like it's in decent shape. So who knows? Maybe I'll bring you guys back. We'll put some power to this thing and see if this thing will click over. All right, we'll pause it again. All right, so we got sorry, the thing's not focusing. So we got one of the cords down here. We grabbed a solenoid, and this thing's on. It's really hard to tell. You can just barely hear the clock more clicking around. So I'm just going to flip around and go watch my arms. Make sure nothing shorts itself out. So if you can hear that, she's buzzing away. So this clock still works. Now, we don't know if the timing mechanism, all that stuff works, but they're just using one zone. So all that work to have a pedestal controller for one zone. So it'd be kind of fun to see, like, you know, remount the conduit, fix the door, clean up the paint. But, you know, this thing's probably got to be 60 years old, and it still works. And it's been derelict for how many decades? Plural. So, anyway, I've got a few controllers like that, so if you like seeing the old controllers and vintage stuff, let me know.